It was the beginning of July, and the heat hung heavy over the neighborhood like a thick blanket, the kind of sweltering air that made everyone stay indoors, blinds drawn, AC humming at full blast. I didn't have much to do. Just like most recent high school grads still trying to figure out what the summer before college was supposed to feel like. That morning, my best friend Jake Carter texted me to come over. We were supposed to hang out, maybe mess around with his dad's old guitar or shoot some hoops in the driveway if it cooled off enough. I threw on a clean t-shirt, grabbed my keys, and made the short walk to his house, just 2 blocks down. Jake lived with his mom, Rachel Carter. She was in her early 40s, and although most people saw her as just another single mom in the neighborhood, she stood out in quiet, unexpected ways. Always polished, graceful, and direct in conversation, she carried herself like someone who knew people noticed her, and she didn't mind. She was the kind of mom everyone greeted at school events, the one who always volunteered for bake sales but never came off as trying too hard. She had presence, and she knew it. That day, Jake wasn't home when I arrived. His mom opened the door, looking surprised but not displeased to see me. She wore denim shorts and a fitted tee. Her dark blonde hair pulled into a loose ponytail. "Jake ran out to grab something with his cousin," she said, stepping aside to let me in. "He should be back soon. You're welcome to wait." I nodded and stepped inside. The house was cool, a welcome relief from the heat outside. I caught the scent of fresh laundry and the light citrusy candle she always had burning in the kitchen. I sat on the couch, absent-mindedly scrolling through my phone while she walked back into the kitchen. "You hungry?" she called. "I'm good," I replied, trying not to sound like I was imposing. Still, she came back with a glass of lemonade and handed it to me with a smile. "I was just about to carry some boxes into the garage," she said. "Mind giving me a hand while you wait?" "Sure," I said, getting up quickly. We walked into the hallway, where a few cardboard boxes were stacked near the laundry room. She picked one up and handed me another, then led me through the side door into the garage. The air inside was thick and smelled faintly of motor oil and the dry summer dust that always seemed to coat places like that. We set the boxes down on a workbench, and she leaned against its edge, wiping a small bead of sweat from her forehead. I stood there awkwardly, unsure what to do next. She looked at me for a long moment before speaking. "You've grown up a lot this year, Nate," she said, her voice calm but serious. I laughed nervously, unsure how to respond. "Yeah, I guess." "No, really," she said, tilting her head slightly. "You're not that quiet, skinny kid Jake brought home freshman year anymore. I see how people look at you now. You carry yourself differently." I felt my face flush. Compliments weren't something I handled well, especially from adults. Especially from her. "Thanks," I said, rubbing the back of my neck. There was a pause. She crossed her arms loosely and looked toward the small window in the garage, where strips of sunlight filtered through the dust. "Sometimes it's strange watching everyone grow up," she said. "You all change so quickly, and suddenly you're not just kids anymore." I wasn't sure where this was going, and part of me didn't want to know. But the way she was looking at me now, like I wasn't just her son's friend, like I was something more, made my chest tighten. She stepped closer, slow but not hesitant. I could feel the air shift between us, like we were standing on the edge of something unnamed but undeniably real. "I'll pretend you're just helping me," she said softly, like it was a secret between us. But we both know that's not really true. I didn't move. Couldn't. There were 100 things I could have said, 100 steps I could have taken toward the door. But none of them came. Her voice, her expression, they held something raw and unspoken. Something tangled between loneliness and curiosity. A longing buried beneath years of being the strong one, the dependable one. But then, a noise from the driveway shattered the silence. The garage door rattled faintly, and we both stepped back instinctively. Jake's voice called from the front yard. "Mom." "Nate." Rachel turned toward the boxes like nothing had happened. "We're in the garage," she shouted back. Jake walked in, sunglasses on, holding a fast food bag in one hand. "There you are, dude. Sorry I dipped. My cousin needed help picking up his car." "No worries," I said quickly, hoping my voice sounded normal. He tossed me a drink from the bag, then glanced at his mom. Need help with the boxes? We're good, she said. Nate already helped me. Jake didn't notice anything in her tone, and we headed back into the house like everything was fine. And in some ways it was. Nothing had really happened. No lines crossed, no promises made. But something had changed. The way she looked at me now. The way I felt when I was near her. It had all shifted. Over the next few weeks, I found myself going to Jake's house more than usual. Sometimes he was there. Sometimes he wasn't. Rachel never seemed surprised to see me. Never asked many questions. We'd talk in the kitchen while she cooked or sit on the back porch as the sun dipped low and the cicadas began to sing. One day, Jake had a shift at his summer job. I showed up anyway, not sure if I'd catch her alone. She opened the door, her expression unreadable, then stepped aside. I figured you'd come, she said quietly. That day we didn't pretend. We didn't talk about boxes or chores. We just sat across from each other in the living room, words failing us. A storm rolled in, thunder rumbling softly in the distance. I don't know what I'm doing, she admitted at last. I just know that when you're here I feel like someone actually sees me. Not just as Jake's mom or the woman who keeps everything together. I swallowed hard. I see you, I said. She looked at me, her eyes shimmering, not with tears but with vulnerability. You shouldn't. I know. And yet you do. We sat like that for a long time. No moves, no rush. Just the weight of something unnamed pressing down on both of us. I thought about my own mom, who left when I was 10. I thought about all the years I spent trying to fill gaps that weren't mine to fill. And here was Rachel, doing the same in her own way. As the weeks passed, the quiet tension between us lingered. Sometimes it surfaced in a glance or a conversation that lasted a bit too long. Other times, it stayed buried beneath layers of normalcy. But it never left. Jake remained unaware. And I hated that I was keeping something from him. He was my best friend. But I also knew this strange connection with his mom wasn't about betrayal. It was about two people recognizing something in each other they never expected, and maybe never should have found. Eventually, summer began to fade, as summers do. College loomed closer. Jake got busy with packing, dorm shopping, and saying goodbye to his girlfriend. I started preparing too. But in the quiet moments, my thoughts still drifted to her. The day before I left for college, I stopped by their house one last time. Jake wasn't home. Rachel opened the door and stepped aside silently. We stood in the kitchen like we had so many times before.